Bring this here. Bring this one back, yeah.
I'm out.
Bronze out. Yeah.
Life eternal, catch me in the most high journal. Becoming one with his thoughts, fixing my internal, the external, my ex, my previous love former. Kablow, how you like me now? Converted like transformer. I'm out, fire the feather file, hurling through the atmosphere. Out of here, through the mastosphere, past the stratosphere, projectile. Once he bit my heel, I crushed his head down, turned into a dragon, that reptile upset now. Lizards and wizards can get the business and wreck now. Guided by the light of Yeshaya, I see my steps. Wow, when I was blind, my mind used to just fret how I could get the dairy, the cream, milk in my next cow. Working for the Father, he got us so we're blessed now. Stingy, I was tight as the screws, but about the shit now. Sing it so you can spin it, throw it so you can blow it. I ain't worried about the earthly, and heaven is what we sow it, so let's get it. When you get the Father's law, that's that kingdom money. Get it. Follow gospel, do it all, that's that kingdom money. When you down to do a good deed, that's that kingdom money. Kingdom money, out here sowing seeds, that's that kingdom money. Kingdom money, kingdom money. Got to get that kingdom money. Get it spread out. Get that kingdom money. Get it. Then don't even tell. Get that kingdom money. Get it. Keep it to yourself. Get that kingdom money. Kingdom money. Kingdom money. Kingdom. Kingdom.
Mark 8:36. But what profited a man if he gained the whole world and lose his soul?
I am not worried about the worldly kingdom where we slowing now. When dead into the heavens, the Father is where we over now. Do or die, he know who will ride. We back rolling now, holding now. Trying to call me a Negro is out, dope is out. Robbing and stealing for cash flow is out. Slaving through a Sabbath is not a habit I know about. Pray the Father free you, release you, and keep you at the house. Pray, but if you about it, then watch they boss switch they schedule out. Hope we stack the new bank, not the same new change. Flipping it, riding around, getting it like 2 chains. Speakers going crazy in the trunk while the truth bang. Hearing Shalom, my garage, I got a new name. Feel a higher cradle me, backslide, no man. Yeshaya paved the way for me. Put me on this road, man. Sit where rock she came for me. Tears of joy flow, man. Satan can't afford my soul. Leave flat broke, man. Go. When you keep the Father's law, that's that kingdom money. Get it. Follow gospel, do it all. That's that kingdom money. When you down to do a good deed, that's that kingdom money. Kingdom money. Out here sowing seeds, that's that kingdom money. Kingdom money, kingdom money. Got to get that kingdom money. Get it. Spread out your wings in this hell. Get that kingdom money. Get it. Then don't even tell. Get that kingdom money. Get it. Keep it to yourself. Get that kingdom money. Kingdom money. Kingdom money. Kingdom. Kingdom.
John 12:25. He that loveth his life shall lose it, and he that hateth his life in this world shall keep it unto life eternal.
Shabbat. Not Shabbat. My fault. Shalom, everybody. Right? Giving all the praise, all the honor, all the glory to the Most High, whose name is Ahaya, son named Yasha. His mother's name is Kakamawa. Shalom, everybody. I am nobody, first of all. But I was given a person and a soul and some flesh here, right? This goes by the name of your brother Bronze, right? Anointed and appointed, double dipped in that ointment, right? My dogs, they're barking. Gotta excuse that. It's a lot of wild things running around out there, and My dogs are just being obedient, letting me know that something's out there just in case I want to pop out and pop out. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to try to talk louder than them, and be of less of an inconvenience with that, right, to y'all. And I do apologize again about that. Uh, been very, very busy this week, you know, since Sunday. Haven't really been much live. Been going in around here, jumping back and forth from that garage uh, to the vineyard, getting that in order and things. You know, left a lot out there. Went live a lot. So I know y'all got stuff to catch up with and watch. So took a moment real quick, to go on ahead on and take care of the land. Man, fell off on the gym too, man. I ain't been to the gym and I can't be doing that, you know. Uh, my flesh suffers, you know. Spirit ain't one, but that flesh be suffering, boy. And the more you put into the spirit, the more it weighs over on your flesh. And then the more you're going to put into your flesh, the more it's going to weigh over onto the spirit. So it's like, man, it's hard to find that perfect balance, right? Especially with it getting dark so quickly. It's dark by 5, 4:50 now. So, the day's been cut short and it's cold. Man, it be cold out there. Time to get indoors and things like that. So, yeah, but I pray y'all been doing well out there. I pray y'all been out there spreading them fruits, right? And getting your nine in order, right? Them 9 fruit of the spirit, because that's all that matters, y'all. Nothing else matters. Of course, you can't be sloppy, right? I know a lot of people will take that to mean that you got to be sloppy. But to tell you the truth, there really is no way that you can care about the 9 and be sloppy at the same time. Ain't no way. Ain't it? Man, glory be unto the Most High. He has made this thing simple, y'all, and I'm going to keep on saying it. I'm going to keep on saying it. Right? So, today or tonight, I plan to go into some more of that book of Romans. And if we have time, hit the spiritual body. The spiritual body that is indeed coming. Right? Because this here cannot inherit eternal life. Right? We wear another body to see the reward that we worked for in this earth. And it is directly connected one to another. So And we need to be getting ready for that. We need to be preparing and think about that. What can go? Your feelings, that's going. Your mind, what you think, that stuff is going, y'all. This flesh ain't going. Whatever credentials, it ain't going. You know, whatever credentials you built up in this earth, that stuff ain't going. Whatever status you built up in this earth, that's not going, fam. That stuff ain't going, right? Whoever we think we are and things like that, I'm telling you, right? My mind has been poof, shocked, right? And so much stuff, you guys. I pray you listen to me. So much stuff, y'all, does not matter. It doesn't matter. And we be thinking we know what we're attached to or not. We be thinking it's not of our own desire, the things that we are attached to and pay attention to. It's real hard to see, y'all. Man, it's hard to see. I thought I knew myself. I did not, right? And I did pretty good. I was doing better than most, I believed. Well, before I took off out of here, man, I thought I had all the fat boiled off. You know, so much stuff does not matter, y'all. Pet peeves and all that was wiped away. You know what I could sit here and deal with changed. You know, man, before I left here, I couldn't sit here a long time. What was something that was getting on my nerves, right? Was something that was getting on my nerves now. I would say something, I would be gentle, maybe. It was, it was a gamble. But man, nowadays, it's so pure and easy to see, y'all, what's what. You know, you put things in that melting pot and you boil it down, man. And the lean meat that you pick up is going to be much smaller than what you dropped off in there. And 1 Corinthians chapter 13, y'all. Oh, it sums it up so nicely. What matters? What you did for another. What you did for somebody else. Everything else dies with you. Everything else, y'all, it dies with you. What stays here? What did you do for anybody else? And that's what they're going to be talking about. That's what they're going to remember the most about you, and selfish as it seems, it is very selfish. That's what the earth is after. What's mine? You know, what's for me? And it's a cold thing to measure anything by, but what does that matter when you're gone and you did nothing for nobody? But everything you did for yourself. Right? This earth is going to forget about you, kids and all. You know? They ain't thinking about pop. Your kids are not going to think about pop. If you wasn't a bomb dad, right? If you didn't make sure they had what they wanted and things like that, that's what make people appreciate a man. What did he do for me, right? Nobody cares about a man's love. They care about mom's love. They don't care about a man's love, man. I love you. So what? What you got, fool? Right? You know what I mean? But you know, it takes a long time for people to appreciate dad, right? You're gonna appreciate dad when he's gone and you're 35, 38, 42, right? That's when pop kicks in and everything he taught you. You're gonna have to look back. You gotta prove it. And that takes a long time. And then you look back over what you have proven in your life, right? That you got from your pop, and then you'll appreciate him, right? Uh, the first thing we appreciate is, when you in your late 20s and you like, man, I didn't go to prison for life. I thank dad for that, right? But man, we could ramble all night if we're not careful. So let us get to these scriptures. I have Romans chapter 3 drawn out and copy and pasted into my other program. So if y'all want to get there, we're going to start reading there in just a moment. And it came down, if you remember, if you caught Romans 1 and 2, it came down pretty hard on the brew in that last chapter there, right? So it's like teetering. It has to be careful, you know. It give Israelites a little bit, it give the Gentiles a little bit, and it goes back and forth, right? So when you read in the Bible, you have to put your feelings aside long enough to let it roll out what it's talking about or where it's going to go with things. You know, we hear what we don't want to hear, and then we just get uncomfortable and start squirming in our seat, ready to go, ready to close the book and go do something else. We lose interest easy and things like that. Man, let the book unfold, you know. So, what you about to hear, you know, Israelites brag about, and it can make the Gentiles feel away, you know. But sit through it, both of us, you know. Rather you be Jew or Greek, you understand? Sit through it, man. So we're gonna jump off the boat with this and start swimming, right? Coming off the back of Romans 2, it left off talking about, but he is a Jew which is one inwardly, right? And circumcision is that of the heart and in the spirit and not in the letter, right? The law itself, which God did give the seed of Jacob, gave him the law. That law, that law, it don't solidify it, right? What solidifies us? Whose praise is not of men, but is of God. What is your praise worth, right? What is your praise worth to the Most High? He loves when anybody praises him. right? And when you praise him, you are doing what you are created for, right? But he said, I love them that love me. So it means a little bit more when you praise him and your life fitted, right? He really likes that. Your praise means more, right? He's with you, he's close to you, right? So all praises be to the Most High, and that's for anybody that crosses all lines, right? Whose praise do you think he appreciates more? An obedient Gentile or a disobedient Israelite? He is no respecter of persons, right? So everything goes out the window with disobedience, right? Comes back in the window with obedience, ain't it? So let's jump off with this. Coming off the back of he is a Jew, which is one inwardly, right? And that was pretty rough on the Gentiles, right? Uh, kind of told them, uh, kind of told them, hold up, my fault. Let me just get into this because we got a lot to get through tonight. Kind of want to hit the spiritual body if we can. I've been trying to get it and get it. I've been failing. So I guess what I'm gonna have to do if I don't get it tonight is just come back in here and go straight to 1 Corinthians 15. But Romans 3 jumps off and says, what advantage then have the Jew? Right? Because it left off saying you're a Jew inwardly. Right? And it's not outward in the flesh, nor is it of the letter of the law. Right? So that left off, kind of rough. So it's going to try to lift you back up here, starting out Romans 3. What advantage then have the Jew? And it's going to separate, right, uh, the advantage that was given to the Israelites. And it's what? Or what profit is there of circumcision? Right? Verse 2. Much every way. Little stuff like that, little words like that, we really got to pay attention to stuff like that. What does that mean? Much every way. And I'm going to keep it off the screen. Matter of fact, let me let y'all get the screenshot. Let me let y'all get the screenshot. Hold up. We see that, right? So, much every way, y'all. A whole much is a lot, right? Much is a whole bunch. But this just said much every way. So you got a whole bunch and you every way. You putting it everywhere here. You know what I'm saying? Much every way. What's the next word? Chiefly. Right? So most importantly, much every way, whole bunch, all direction, right? Chiefly, most importantly, because that unto them were committed the oracles of God. What is that? What that means, the Bible was given to them, right? And it really wants us to stress that fact, much every way, chiefly, right? We're reading this Bible, right? And we want it to talk to us, and we want it to make us wiser, and we want it to help us, right? And this is our connection to the heavens and to God. So when we come in here, we got everything riding on this, right? And that's why they got to put phrases like that, right? Much every way, chiefly. This is important, this part, right? Because that unto them were committed the oracles of God, y'all. So don't play with that. You come into this Bible, appreciate this Bible, be led by this Bible. Don't be trying to lead this Bible, right? What you want these scriptures to be saying, that ain't more important than what the scriptures is really saying, right? And it's very childish. It's very childish uh to be doing that private interpretation and all that. We better try to understand what this book is really saying to us, okay? Much every way, chiefly, because that unto them were committed the oracles of God. Okay? What is oracle? That's the oral, right? That ORA in oracles is making it by the mouth, right? Oral. The word of God, right? Verse 3, for what if some did not believe, right? So this Bible was committed to the Jew or Jake, right? It was committed to him. But what if somebody don't believe it? And we see that in the world. So what? Who cares? We the chosen people of the Bible. So what? Right? Who cares, says the world, right? And even Jake himself is out there making fun of that. You know? Shout out to Drewski. I thought it was funny. But you see him marching around. That's right. That's right. You know, doing doing skits and stuff, you know. They make a mockery of this thing, man. But uh again about that, don't take that harsh, y'all. He did that and he joked like that, but deep down, he probably did that because he respects it so much. And he could be teetering on the edge, getting ready to jump head first in this thing, you know? And that's how they be. They mock 1 minute, the next minute, man. And it's going to talk about that. Paul is going to talk about that because Paul did that. Paul was killing followers of Christ. And then he ended up going, nobody went harder than Paul, ever. Nobody to this date, right? And it's like, you know, the more you dog, the more you owe when you're trying to get right, ain't it? Right? So, what if some did not believe? Shall their unbelief make the faith of God without effect? Right? So just because you don't believe this book, do you not believe in this book? Make this book any less effective, beyond true, beyond true. Because if it's true, big deal, it's just true. But effective, what can it do for you? Okay? Yikes. What could this book do for you? It's everything, y'all. That's what was given to the Jews. That's why it's saying much every way, chiefly. I've been talking to y'all about this spirit that jumped on me when I had my near-death experience, right? And I felt what eternity feels like, right? And that's what I share with y'all. Because right now, you don't feel it, but you're scared. You're very afraid, right? And man, that's why my kidneys shut down. My blood pressure was high. I was stressed, y'all. I was keeping a tight law. Oh, I was keeping a tight gospel. And it felt good because the spiritual things feel good, right? And it'll have you totally miss what's going on in the flesh, right? So I didn't feel a lot of what was going on in the flesh, y'all. But I literally killed myself, y'all. Right? But it was glorious though. Con, it was glorious, the life that I was living, you know. I wouldn't take none of that back. None of that would I take back. But man, you are afraid. Your heart, your mind, right? Your heart and your mind don't know what to expect. It doesn't know how things end, right? Or none of that. And you are afraid in your soul. Now that goes away when you see what I saw, right? Which you guys, you probably won't go through that. You know, when you go up out of here, that's probably gonna be it. You know, it ain't gonna be no coming back. It's very rare to come back to see that and then come back. You know, but your soul forgot where it came from, and we don't know how things end. You know, in this earth. Uh, but man, if I could have y'all to relax, you know, I'm giving you this testimony the best way I know how, and I'm doing it to the end that you relax, right? This book is real. God is real. Heaven is real. Righteousness is real. Righteousness is not empty, right? Unrighteousness is worthy of damnation. All of that. This stuff is real, y'all, right? And Once you get a chance, if you had the chance to come back and do things right after you have failed, you're going to see how easy it really was to be right in this little short little piece of life that we dealing with, because it's not much life that we have. We've been talking about this on numerous installments, right? Life is short, y'all. This is really no time, right? So that's what was given to the Jews, y'all, is this book. And this book is leading us into something that is eternal. And once we get in there, man, that's why I hope I can read the spiritual body, because it goes into that, right? This ain't nothing on this side, y'all. Don't let nothing in this earth keep you from that, right? But that's what it means when it says, "Shall their unbelief make the faith of God without effect?" Man, this is so effective, y'all. You are buying yourself forever. And then guess what? The threat of death goes away, right? And that's what you're dealing with right now, is the threat of death. It never leaves your mind. It's always tucked back there. I don't care what you thinking about, how you spending your time. It's back there, man. I could die. You know, if I don't do the right thing with this little piece of life I got, this shot at life that I have, right? Man, once you get there, it ain't gonna be something in the back of your mind. It's gonna be, you're gonna be suffering, right? In your first mind, it's gonna, torment. So, man, shout out to everybody who say that, right? For what if some did not believe, right? Yikes. You better start believing. Basically, you know, uh, to sum up what I'm saying, man, you better start believing, right? Shall their unbelief make the faith of God without effect? Nah, it's still going down. You're going to find that out, right? And as to the people that you're watching, because I have a lot of conversations with folks, and it's crazy that this comes out when it comes out. I'm telling you, all you got to do is crack your book open, man, and it's gonna pertain. If the spirit be on you, and if the spirit is really trying to guide you, man, it's gonna pertain to everything you've been dealing with recently, right? And these are conversations I've been having. I've been speaking more with people who don't believe anything, who don't have a faith. Man, I've been speaking more with them people, uh, more than usual lately, right? Because when you're in the comfort of organized religion, everybody's like you. You all believe the same thing, you know. You all got your cup out at the same cistern and everybody's drinking. There's an understanding, right? But when you come off from under that and you get off in this real world, man, that's a real disciple of Christ, right? In the vineyard, on your hands and knees in the dirt, gardening, and kind of in control of your own destiny and your own uh, endeavors, and you know your your evangelism and things like that, right? Man, I wouldn't trade. I'd rather be doing this. I wouldn't trade this for nothing, man. you know. But everything works the way it works for a reason. But man, I'm really regretting those 13 years. I wouldn't say I wasted because nothing is wasted, right? But to clear that up, for what if some did not believe? Shall their unbelief make the faith of God without effect? Verse 4, God forbid. God says no. God forbid means, man, get that thought out your head, right? Yea, let God be true, right? But every man a liar. Don't go leaning on everything a Jew says just because they said it, is what that means, right? Because we got some faulty characters out there. And man, it's so cold. It's a cold number that they're working on the earth. It ain't no getting loose from that. It ain't no for most of those people, yikes, they trapped. They'll never, they'll never get out of the clutch, right? Because they're getting the word of God, but there's just no end. You know, it's not being sealed up. Nothing's ever done, right? It stays open ended. Nothing is anything. You're getting everything and nothing at the same time. You're getting all this knowledge, but nothing means nothing. If you ask them, what do you really know? They might draw a blank, right? You ask me a question like that, that's all I need. What do you really know? Bronze, what do you really know, man? I'm going. Well, what I do know is these 9 fruits. Okay? If you get those, baby, you ain't got nothing to worry about. Don't matter how much time goes by, don't matter where you go, right? Time and space means nothing when you have the 9. And I can just go. But ask most people, man, what do you really know? How many years you got in the Bible? I got 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 35 years, some of them, right? What do you really know? They'll draw a blank. Their response, would it end at eternal life? No. No. It'll be a long, drawn out story with no end, and you'll be asking yourself at the end of it, what did I learn? What did you just show me right now? Because without these 9 and without 1 Corinthians chapter 13, everything will always stay open-ended. You know, even the deep books that come out of like Ephesians, right? Ephesians 7 is one of the deepest books ever. But it, you know, man, we got to go into it and we got to read it and we got to, you know what I mean? That's one we need to go into for real, for real. You know, but if you don't know these 9, it means nothing. It'll be open ended forever, right? They can't answer you nothing. Are you good? Well, nobody is good. Then why are we doing anything then? Because of grace and this and that. And oh, you said, we're Christians now, huh? Why are you down so heavy on a Christian when you answered that the same way that a Christian would? Christians don't know. But we've been fed the illusion that when we come into the Hebrew truth that we know. You don't. Are you good? What is good? No, I'm not good. Are you going to be saved? If you drop dead right now, would you make it? I don't have no idea. Right? What means anything in the earth? What's worth anything? Oh, that you keep the law and follow Christ. What is the law? What is the law teaching you how to do? It ain't no one word, it ain't no one sentence answer for that, right? You're asking for a long, drawn out response with no end because that's their knowledge. They don't know how to say it's teaching you how to love your brother and respect God, right? Simple. Simple. End of it, right? Love the Most High with all thy heart, all thy soul, all thy mind, and thy neighbor as thyself is what the law is teaching you, right? What is the gospel teaching you? Same thing. Same thing, right? It don't change. Every oracle that he gave us is just further solidifying that, right? But it seemed like you can't get that out of men. So that's why verse 4 said, let God be true and every man a liar, including me. A man is going to lie to you. But I guarantee you, baby, I lie to you not. Right? And us who have been doing what I'm talking about, y'all are being made believers. Right? Every day I wake up, we're a little further and further and further, and we stacking up and we're expanding, and you know, and we gotta be patient and remain patient, y'all. And man, this is it, y'all. This is it. We shutting the earth down, right? The last doctrine, y'all. We're getting it, right? Oh, we're getting it, y'all. Finally, man. Mom, let God be true, but every man a liar. As it is written, what's written? That thou mightest be justified in thy sayings. What does that mean? That thou mightest be justified in thy sayings. That means so that when you open your mouth and speak, you know what you're talking about. Right? Why? Because you are regurgitating God and not man. And God knows what he's talking about. Right? Yes, yes, yes. Right? And mightest overcome when thou art judged. Two reasons. First reasons, so that you can know what you're talking about. Two, if you know what you're talking about and it's behind God, guess what? It don't stop at death. Or should I say the first death? When this flesh drop, baby, we just getting started, right? And you're going to overcome when you are judged, right? Yeah. 5. But if our righteousness commend the righteousness of God, if our unrighteousness commend the righteousness of God. So say you use wickedness and you see some guys do this. I'm wicked, I'm this and that, right? But God, he's everything, right? That's what that means. But if our unrighteousness commend the righteousness of God, what shall we say? Is God unrighteous who taketh vengeance? So when you go through your whole life not following what you speak of, but giving God all the glory, right? I speak as a man, says Paul, right? Is God unrighteous to take vengeance on you? No, you deserve it more than anybody because you knew, right? You can't teach this and not do it yourself. And that seems to be a common problem when we see that right in our faces. We see that, and we see our leaders do that, right? These guys are mean, man. They're not nice guys, right? They got some little seniority through their practices, through their congregations. Their congregations grew and grew a lot of people, man. A whole bunch of people poured in and it went to their head. And we went into that recently too. If you're not totally righteous and giving your whole heart to God, that stuff is going to corrupt you. When that fame and money come, when you see it go to their head, you know that they weren't righteous and they weren't ready for that, right? They wasn't ready for it. And it's going to destroy them. And that's why you must be humble and meek, right? And modest. Words like this: contrite, lowly, lowly. You can't be excited about money. You can't be excited about a beautiful woman, right? Because Satan's going to send her, right? Satan's going to send that big check. He's going to send that. That stuff he has control over, right? And that's where these guys falling off at, man, right? And they think they're going to use unrighteousness and somehow yield it over to something righteous, right, and be okay. And this is saying, is God unrighteous who taketh vengeance? So when they do all of that and they still don't make it, is God wrong for that? That's what it's asking. Verse 6, God forbid. Again, that means no, he's not, right? For then, how shall God judge the world, right? Because if he let you slide, then how he gonna let the rest of the world slide? Everybody has a dual nature. You see that? We have an unrighteous side, we have a righteous side. So that's why you got to know what's being judged. It's one thing that's being judged in this earth. What's that one thing? What left from you? What exuded from you? What came off of you? Right? If you fill up a bag with something and you poke a hole in the bottom, what's leaking? Is it pleasant? Right? Or is it something nasty and putrid and you know what I'm saying? Y'all get what I'm saying? If it's something sweet dripping out the bottom, you might not even notice. You know? You may not even know nothing was leaking. But man, what if it's putrid? What is that smell, right? What is that, right? And you're gonna be mad and you're gonna look around. What is that? I don't want to smell this anymore. Right? It gets on your nerves. Con? And that's how the spiritual world is. When this flesh drop, How does your spirit smell? Because up there, it's like, oh no, that can't come. That down, down, right? It's going down into the center of the earth. Wherever you're at in the earth, you got to go into the ground to get to the center, Con. It goes down, y'all. As does what? Any waste. It comes from the ground, goes back into the ground. Only spiritual things go up, y'all. And that's why you have to have your spirit now, not your flesh. You have to have your spirit fall in line. And there is no other way to do that than what? The 9. What the 9 does for your spirit family, oh, nothing else can do it. Can't nothing else do it. What that love, what them 9 fruits, what the fruit of the spirit does for your soul and charity, what charity does for you, what 1 Corinthians chapter 13 does for you, none of this. Oh, man. I'm saying it as clear as I know how to say it, y'all. I don't know no other way to say it. You're going to do all this other stuff and juggle with all of this other stuff. And it ain't nothing wrong with what you're doing. It is righteous, but you're not going to get it all like that. You're going to get it all through Galatians 5 and 1 Corinthians chapter 13 automatically. It's a mentality that this is selling us. It's a mentality that it's selling us. It's not precepts and empty book facts. That's what Proverbs is talking about when it says ever learning and never coming to the knowledge of the truth, right? And how do you know you have the truth? Because John 8:32, what's it going to do? It's going to make you free. And you feel good when you come here and you hear me say these things that I'm saying. It'll make you feel good, right? And you'll leave here, you'll cut your computer off, you'll leave, you feeling accomplished. Yeah, the fruits, this and that, right? You out there and you know what you know, and 1 Corinthians chapter 13 is on your mind, Galatians 5 is on your mind, right? And it's the spirit, it is mama, it's the fruit of her. So you feeling good, but you ain't doing it. Right? And you won't be doing it, y'all. It's a way to fill up with it and not do it and totally deceive yourself. So, and I say all of that to say, make sure you're doing it, fam. Go be nice. Go be sweet to everybody. Okay? It counts the most when it's somebody that nobody is sweet to. That's who you want to go be sweet to, right? Man, they're the ones needed the most. Pick them up off the ground, right? Do something for they. That's worth the most to the Father. What are you gonna go do? Do to somebody, who really don't need it? Somebody who's easy to talk to? Somebody who looks good, smells good, you know what I mean? Nah, you gotta go. You gotta do it for those who really, really need it. Right? And that's how you overcome. when you are judged, right? And that's how your righteousness commend the righteousness of God, right? And that'll keep his vengeance off of you. I pray you don't be judged. I pray you don't be judged. That's what I'm trying to do, y'all. I'm trying to get y'all to the sapphire, right? Because if you go to the center of the earth, that's judgment. It's gonna have to be weighed, right? Christ babies, somewhere else. Somewhere else. Off top, right? So, you know, verse 6, God forbid, right? Coming off of the question, is God unrighteous for judging us? Right? Or worse, taking vengeance on us. Is he wrong for that? God forbid. No. For then, right? For then, how shall God judge the world? How he gonna judge the rest of the world if he let you go? Let's get a screenshot real quick. Quick screenshot for you. Verse 7 to 9, right? Maybe even 10. Let's see if we can get 10 in there. Kapow. Yeah, get you quick. Get you 7 to 10. Come on. So verse 7, for if the truth of God has abounded through my lie, right, unto his glory, why yet am I also judged as a sinner? Right? If my unrighteousness equaled righteousness for others, huh? Why I still got to be judged? Hey, and not rather as we slanderous reported, and as some affirm that we say, let us do evil, that good may come, whose damnation is just. So, you know, because that's the same as if you said, let us do evil, that good may come. Right? The Most High does not need evil. Right? He does good and it equals good. And that's original. Now, the evil, he's so brilliant that he found a way for that to work for him too. You see that? So even when you go do evil, all still in his court, it still serves him, right? Because that's how brilliant he is. See that? So whose damnation is just? Let us do evil that good may come. You think you're going to do wicked and give God all the glory. and somehow it's going to equal something good for you, and it's going to bring people into all truth. Nah, you are held at a higher accountability if you're a teacher, and if you're, if you have evangelism under your belt. To whom much is given, much is required, right? So your damnation will be just. Yeah, he's right in condemning you if he feels like it, right? Verse 9. What then? Are we better than they? No, in no wise. For we have before proved both Jews and Gentiles that they are all under sin. We're all under sin, right? We're all going to do something. What is that sin? What did we say sin was? Rolling over on your brother, sister, or the Most High. Ain't it? So, uh, it's really hard to not offend your brother. You don't know what he's going through. You don't, you know what I mean? But if you should crush him and make him feel a way, you failed. You failed at the law. You need grace, okay? You need in the Old Testament, you would need a sacrifice if you know, and he might not even say nothing to you, but it could bruise his soul. Oh, you don't know what kind of pet peeves he has, right? You don't know what he's been through. Dang, crown is itching. Mama's coming in. She's coming in. Yikes, I'm ready to snatch this thing off my head and scratch like a maniac. Yikes. Okay. Oh, I'm on it. I'm on it, mama. That's it. That's it. Right? I'm on it. It's so hard, y'all, to not offend your brother. If something's triggered inside of him and he's crushed and he's hurt, you just broke law. You just rolled over on your brother. You just did everything that this whole law is trying to have you not do, and that's offend anybody. That's why the book of James says what? He who offends not in word, the same is what? What does it say he is? A perfect man. What did I say, y'all? This whole everything is. Them fruits, y'all, that's what's making us perfect. And at the time that we float in those, man, we perfect, y'all. If we don't offend anybody, we're perfect. Right? And that's why I try to prime us up and prepare us when I'm getting ready to say something off, to kind of have you understand going into it so that it don't just pop out of nowhere on you and it offends you in your soul, right? That's why I do that. And that's being careful with your brother and your sister with your ears, right? Because I remember waking up and my first thoughts being, Father, please protect my eyes today, what I see. Protect my ears today, what I hear, right? All of that. Protect my heart, what it's able to feel. Don't let me be offended today, Father. Why? That's for somebody else's sake, right? Yeah. So it's kind of cold blooded, man, to just spring some crazy material on somebody or something, right? Something offensive, you know. Yeah, we got to be careful with that, y'all. right? We got to be careful with that because what then? Are we better than they? So somebody don't even care about this book at all. They're not in this book. But are we better than them? No. Why? Because you're both offending people. You see that? We come in this book, man, we getting these scripts, we so puffed up, right? And it's been making me sad for a long time. Just seeing how we behave ourselves coming out of this book, right? In this way that we believe that we can just treat people, even after we got the so-called truth, right? Which it's not setting us free. So how true is it, right? If it ain't setting you free, right? It ain't truth if it ain't setting you free. Time and time again, devil send his minions after me, right? Skip through a portal on them, baby. Blameless me, blameless lead, right? Never catch me on the offense. I just play D. Right? What is that? What song is that? That's that double play. That double play. What was it called? Bondage and Free. Right? Man, I ain't heard that in a long time. I'm gonna run that back, But yeah. What then? Are we better than they? No. In no wise. In no way. That's what wise is. Wise way in no way. For we have before proved both Jews and Gentiles. Right? Jews were given the law, Gentiles were not. But they're equal. Why? That they are all under sin. We're all under sin. We all fall off. We all offend. Right? 10. As it is written, there is none righteous. No, not one. See that? So let's get another screenshot. Another screener. We're going to go down to verse 14, 11 to 14, right? 11 to 14, get your screenshot. Because I got to keep it off the screen if we don't want to buffer. 11, there is none that understandeth. Right? Coming off the back of it saying none is righteous. Why? Because you don't understand. That's why. That's why you're not righteous, because you don't understand. Is it impossible to not offend your brother or your sister or God? No. You can do it. You can get it done. But first, you got to understand you ain't going to do it on no accident, right? There is none that understand. There is none that seeketh after God. If you seek after God, you will find it. You will find it. And few there be that find it. So what does that tell you? That few are seeking after God. I don't know what people are interested in when they pick up this cross and start walking, because there's rarely anybody seeking after God, right? Now, I sought heavy after him, okay? Heavy. I didn't care about it. Nothing else. I turned my back on everything else. I didn't care what it was, who it was. There is nobody in my life that questions he might choose God. He might choose me over God. Everybody knows. And he appreciates that. And he will deal with you a certain way if you declare him in the earth like that. Right? What might he do? I don't know. Give you a tour of heaven, you know, pull you into a realm or something, right? Or he might just shower you with a bunch of blessings on earth, you know. It's a lot of different things he do. Some people are just so full of his spirit that they ain't worried about nothing either, and they ain't lacking anything. That's blessed. Who wouldn't want that, right? But listen, 12, they are all gone out of the way. Why? Because you're not seeking him. When you seek him, you go to one place. When you're out of the way, you're everywhere, right? Wherever the wind blows, right? Tossed to and fro by every wind of doctrine, right? Every wind of teaching, y'all. That ain't only in the book. That's whatever, doctrine just means teaching. So whatever anybody is teaching, if you're pulling up there for that, that's a you're tossed to and fro by every wind of doctrine. Whatever somebody want to tell you, right? They are all gone out of the way, this way, that way. Who's sticking with the Father? Huh? They are together become unprofitable. You're not going to bring anybody to him. That's the prophet, men, right? There is none that do good. What is good? The law. What is the law? How to not step on your God or your fellow neighbor. No, not one. Why? Because you don't care. Show me the person in the earth that cares if they offend you. I just listened to a very high figure in the earth, a very prominent elder, bishop, whatever you want to call these guys and their cloaks and their titles. I just heard him say, "Hey, if it's true, if I'm right, who cares how you feel?" Right? When Corinthians tells us, "Let not this liberty of yours become a stumbling block," right, to anybody else. What is all you know worth if somebody is still offended and you roll over on them? Is what that means, right? What is it worth? Why did you learn all you learn if somebody is still getting hurt? Yikes, right? Let not this liberty of yours be a stumbling block to them who are weak. It's gonna make them trip and fall and land on their two front teeth, right? A stumbling block to them that are weak. They're already weak. They was already weak. What does it mean by weak? Don't know much. They don't know not to be offended at the truth you just said, right? So that's a cold thing to feel like, so what if you get offended? I'm right, right? I said something else in another song, right? Fruit in the spirit is way more important than who right or who wrong. See that? Man, I was talking to the heavens, and it all counted. It all counts. So study, y'all. Get a mouthful of this word and fill up with this charity and speak it, y'all. Because heaven is listening, and stand on it and really obey it and really live by it day by day, right? Words and actions, y'all. And I'm telling you that heaven, it will claim you, y'all. And that's all we doing is talking about that now in my experience. And, me solidifying that for you, you know, uh, do it, y'all. Do your best out there. And it's really easy, y'all. How hard is it to respect people? You know? How hard is it to open doors and do favors and you know what I mean? A lot of it is free. Just having a courteous heart, and you're gonna be all right, y'all. Right? Verse 13, their throat is an open sepulcher. What is that? A grave, y'all. With their tongues, they have used deceit. The poison of asp. What is asp? A snake, okay? A serpent, right? The poison of asp is under their lips. you know, that thing, a snake, that venom, right? Yikes. Mm-mm-mm. And that's coming off the back of they are all gone out of the way. They are together become unprofitable. They're worth nothing to the Most High. Why? Because they're not bringing anybody to Him. It's going to tell you why. There is none that doeth good. Do what good? Reaching out to people. Can't y'all see that? It just keeps solidifying what I'm saying. That's the good it's talking about doing. When you extend charity to another, be it words or any other form. You see that? Any other form. Jikes. No, not one. There's not one out there doing it. 13. Their throat is an open sepulcher, a grave. Right? Oh, it was closed up and stinking, right? Somebody body done rotted up in there, right? But now guess what? It's open. Their throat is an open grave. Can you imagine what kind of words you're speaking when it says this? Pretty horrible, huh? Guess what? No, it ain't. Slightly offensive, this is talking about. You got to understand God and his elements and the things he created. Man, it's puke and throw up and defecation, or else it's sweet smell and fruit, right? Or else it's apple pie, right? It's boo boo, or it's apple pie, y'all. Man, get that. Will you please understand that? It's boo boo or it's apple pie, y'all. There is no in between for the Father. You're speaking good, you're speaking the nine fruits, or you're speaking boo boo. Imagine that now. So, when you're making excuses for it, you're making excuses for boo boo. Imagine somebody bringing you boo boo and trying to make excuses for it. Is there anything that they can say that'll make you look at that doo-doo differently? I doubt it. And that's how the Most High feel. Speak good words out there. Speak good words out there. Everybody that look at you, everybody that smile at you, right? Take that one chance. You probably never see him again. Take that one chance and make them smile. That's how you kill a demon. Because demons are bad feelings. The opposite of the 9. If you're feeling love, joy, peace, right, and you're feeling those things, those are the upper spirits. So that's what we want people to feel: love, joy, peace, right? Goodness, faith, things like that. What is faith? It makes you think of God. It makes you really appreciate your being, right? And the fact that you're alive. Spread that, you know? Spread that. Instead of what? The boo-boo. Right? If I give you a stain on the napkin and, you know, tell you, look, it's just a little bit, man. Like, nah, you know, you got to get that away from me, brother. That's doo-doo, right? Nah, but it's only a little bit. Yikes. Their throat is an open grave, right? With their tongues, they use deceit. They lie, right? And they have something. Deceit is I got something that I want from you, but I don't have nothing to give you for it. So I'm gonna give you the illusion that I'm giving you something. I'm gonna take what I really want. I'm gonna get on up out of here, right? That's deceit, fam. It's something that they want. See that? Their tongues, right, have used deceit. The poison of asp, venom, right? Snake venom is under their lips. 14, whose mouth is full of what? Cursing and bitterness. That's the opposite of the fruits. Whose mouth is full of cursing and bitterness. Is it just talking about F-bombs and UMFs? You know, I see them doing this thing today, AF. You know, all of these acronyms that they're using. You guys are cussing, okay? You're cussing. Is that the only cursing? No. Another cursing is to wish bad on somebody and to wish death or to wish mishap on somebody. And that's why I'm always disclosing, even when I talk about the people, you know, who I'm in it with right now. I always make sure I say, I don't have no problem with them. I don't wish no bad on those folks. Because I don't, right? Because that'd be cursing them. I'm not cursing them. I don't want anything bad to happen to anybody. Not only them, but anybody. I got people done worse to me, right? It's some people that killed my brother, man. You know, my kid brother, my mama's son, right? Killed my brother, man. And, you know, it was a long time in this truth and in this Bible. And I felt forgiveness in my heart for those guys. And I said that if I could ever, you know, I was trying to get a hold of them before for other reasons, but, you know, that reasoning turned into, man, that's the ultimate of my life. That'll be the ultimate forgiveness in my life. to hug those dudes, right? Because they were kids and my brother was a kid, right? They older now, but yeah, that'll prove my forgiveness to me. When I could do that, that's when I'll know, okay, you solid in this forgiveness, right? But man, it's a lot of ways to curse. To curse somebody, man. If you're talking about something unfortunate coming upon somebody, if you're speaking those words, you are cursing them. It's beyond F bombs and stuff, right? So we got to be careful when we word that stuff. How about you start it out with, I pray you don't, or I pray that doesn't, blah, blah, right? You're clearly not cursing them if you start it off like that, right? And there's some things that, man, they're so bad you don't want to say them at all. Right? Yes, yes, yes. Whose mouth is full of cursing and bitterness. Are you bitter? Right? What is bitter? The opposite of sweet. So that runs a lot of people off from me all to do the too sweet. Cause I'm trying not to be bitter. I'm gonna lean away from that, right? One or the other, baby. You gotta choose. What I say last time? If you don't purposely be a healer, you will accidentally be a killer. Oh, what did Steve Urkel? Did I do that? Yes, yes. What you gonna do now? Can you give life? You just took some. You can't give life, can you? No. You're not Christ, huh? Christ can give life. He sent mama into your lungs, right? Mama gives life. We can't give life, y'all. We got 2 minutes to do some CPR. And if that ain't the Father's will, then that's gonna be, worthless. Huh? So man, I'm telling y'all, man, be careful. I'm teaching my son every day. Don't break nothing you can't fix. Don't be a destroyer in your life, son. Right? Don't do nothing you can't undo. Screenshot. Let's get the screen. Kapow. Let's get the screenshot real quick. We're going down to what? 19. We're going to go down to 19. If y'all need your screenshot. Right? Reading on. Verse 15. Their feet are swift to shed blood. It's telling you, y'all. Telling you all the things. Ain't that what it's always talking about when it's talking about evil? You're lying to somebody, you shedding some blood. You see that? Every time it's talking about the wicked. That's all this whole law is. How to take care of and respect who? Your God and your fellow neighbor. The people who share the earth with you. You don't be no problem in this earth, right? And you're going to be all right. Their feet are swift to shed blood. 16, Destruction and misery are in their ways, right? Ways, paths, right? The places they go, it ends in destruction and misery. They're they're destructive, and people are left miserable. The people they come in contact with, them, right? Themselves, everybody. That path that they're leaving is of destruction and misery, y'all. Sounds like the opposite of the fruits, doesn't it? That don't sound like love, joy, peace, huh? So it ain't no other option. I check in on these other guys, I listen to them, and I could tell by how they speak, they think they can dodge the fruit of the spirit, love, joy, peace, and somehow still be all right. No. On the other side of love, joy, peace is destruction and misery. Verse 16, right there, just said it, right? And their feet are swift to shed blood. What are you doing? You harming your brother, man. That's everything the law is against. Everything the law is against. Verse 17, in the way, the path, right? The ways, the way of peace have they not known. Now it's cracking at them about not having the 9. You see that? Yikes. 18. There is no fear of God before their eyes. That's the problem right there. They're not scared of the Most High. I can easily tell somebody who was not afraid of the Most High. Easy. Ain't no way you would have did that, said that, responded like, ain't no way you would have did that. If you got the fear of the Most High, which is wisdom. What is wisdom? Love, joy, peace, long suffering, gentleness, faith, goodness, meekness, temperance. Right? Yes, yes, yes. Okay? That's what wisdom is. Y'all see this? There is no fear before their eyes. There's no fear of God before their eyes. That's why. 19. Now we know that what things soever the law saith. Watch this, y'all. Law alert. Now we know that what things soever the law says, it says to them who are under law, that every mouth may be stopped. We threaten you with the law to shut you up, is what that just said. And all the world may become guilty before God. Convicted. By what? Your mouth be stopped. Your words. How you speak to people out here. How you address people. How you respond to people. Y'all thought I was pulling that out my behind, didn't you? When I said offense, y'all, offense. The slightest one. The slightest one. And they may not say nothing. They may just work through it, and just, yeah, okay. But they thinking about that and they bruise. They spirit. Not the flesh. The spirit, y'all. And enough of that makes people snap. It's nothing, right? Oh, it wasn't nothing. I just said this. Enough of that is going to get somebody killed one day. It's not going to be you. You're long gone. But you threw your dime in the bucket too for this man to snap one day. I'm tired of this, man. Right? Y'all ever seen that? Somebody just sitting and just they get the wiggling that knee or something, or right before they explode. I'm tired of this, man. And it's up right there. And when you're spiritual, and when you're very spiritual, righteous spirits now, because you could be spiritual and it don't be nothing good. Now, righteous spiritual. When you see something like that, I wonder what went into that, right? I want to know every bloop, bloop, every drop that went into making him snap like that. And how long did it take, right? Now, that's a soul of a higher, y'all. That's a soul of the 9 fruits. And the same way how Abraham, hey, be quiet. It's the same way how, like, what Abraham was doing in his ignorance is what bought him everything before he knew. And that's what happened to me too, right? I'm in this book. I kind of knew things, but I didn't really know what I was doing. I was just trying to be good, just trying to be a good man, But man, the Most High spins it around in a way that now you understand. And what you do not knowing, what you do organically gets you chosen, family. But let me let this dog out real quick. They family is here, so they get the wilding out. Why? Right? So, verse 16, destruction and misery are in their way. 17, in the way of peace have they not known. 18, there is no fear of God before their eyes. 19, now we know that what things soever the law saith, it saith to them who are under law, right? That every mouth may be stopped and all the world may become guilty, convicted before God, right? Humble before God. He trying to bow you down and let you see where you wrong at, right? Let's get us another screenshot. So we going from 20 to 23, right? Y'all get that? Y'all go ahead and snap that. Therefore, by the deeds of the law, there shall no flesh be justified in his sight, right? For by the law is the knowledge of sin. See that? Again, verse 20. Therefore, by the deeds of the law, there shall no flesh be justified in his sight. Right? For by the law is the knowledge of sin. Right? So now you know you're doing something wrong. That's the knowledge of sin, right? So what you do, what you do right by the law, it don't justify you. Why? Because you have knowledge of when you don't do right. It kind of splits it. You see that? By learning what you're doing right, you learn what you're doing wrong. And there's going to be slip ups. And that's why we're not perfect. Right? If you count that. But see, the way we're looking at it, the little skip ups we have, is like if you spill something, you know? You turn a cup of liquid over or something. Oops, oh, whoa, right? You're going to run, you're going to get a towel, you're going to wipe that up. You wiping it up is the repentance, right? Oh, my bad, I didn't know. You know what I'm saying? And that's why you got to fish too, because they may not say they offended. So you got to watch them and things. And, you know when you said something. We know when we said something. And it's like, yo, I didn't mean to offend you with blah, blah, and you got to beat them to the punch sometimes, right? It's very possible, right? Therefore, by the deeds of the law, there shall no flesh be justified in his sight, right? Just because you did the things of the law. We have people doing that, y'all. We have people wearing fringes thinking that's going to mean something. We got the people hunkered down tight on holy days. They cutting the beast's neck and everything for the holy days. They're going to get a kid of the goats and all of that, right? And taking them slaughtering the lamb and all of that, dripping the blood. Mm-mm. Those things don't justify you. It wasn't those things of the law that was given to you to protect anything, right? So we got people doing all of this sacrificial stuff, and then they go and hurt people's feelings all day and cuss people out, right? So those deeds don't justify you. What is a deed? Something that you're doing physically, right? So the deeds of the law, right? To make that more clearer, the flesh ain't justified by it, right? 21. But now the righteousness of God without the law is manifest, being witnessed by the law and the prophets. Right? That's what's being manifested. The law and the prophets was off, huh? We had a bad time. You get some of your worst stories within those chapters in those books, right? From Malachi and back, ain't it? But now the righteousness of God without the law. And that's what I've been telling y'all. That's what I've been telling y'all, man. It ain't this law that's making us righteous. You can do all of that stuff. It ain't gonna mean nothing, right? You could cut all the animal necks you want, right? You can do all of that to a T, all you want. But you're going to lose this flesh and you're going to fail. Why? Because it wasn't a day in your life you didn't offend somebody and hurt somebody's feelings or something, right? You didn't lend anybody anything, right? You wasn't into charity that much. right? If I'm gonna give you something, I better be getting something. Is how you felt, right, man? Right? But now the righteousness of God without the law is manifested. That's for us, y'all. That's this what I'm talking about right now. Since I've been going live, right? Being witnessed by the law and the prophets. We witnessed it in the law and the prophets. We seen them fail miserably at that, right? Verse 22, even the righteousness of God, which is by faith of Yasha the Christ, unto all and upon all them that believe. How? Because if you believe in Christ, you're going to do what he did. You're going to walk the way he walked. For there is no difference. Ain't no difference, sin, if you nail everything the law says, or if you just look at Christ and do what he did. It's the same thing, same difference, it just said. Right? And that's what I've been bringing us over here on this side. And I love y'all, man. And we forming something beautiful, man. You know, people who care about people. Yikes. Where is that at? Where is that at in the earth? Huh? I can't stop reading that, right? But now the righteousness of God without the law is manifest. It wasn't manifest at all in the beginning. He let us fail miserably at that law and miss, right? Miss the mark constantly. But guess what? But now the righteousness of God without the law is manifested. Yikes, how? In those two laws that wiped out the whole law. Love God, love your neighbor as yourself. Melted the whole law, right? Into them two statutes. Being witnessed by the law and the prophets. Everything they failed at. Where Judah goes into the worst captivity and the last people to leave the Holy Land. Horrible ships, death, starvation, thrown out to sharks, right? Iron around your neck. You know how heavy iron is? Iron is heavy, y'all. It's not metal, okay? Iron is heavy, y'all, on your neck. A shirt to find some comfort, a shirt to rest your iron collar on? No. Your shirt is off and it's on your skin. And it's cold. You going through the ocean. They was dying. And when they died, shark food, right? Dumped them over the side. Man, that was hard, y'all. That's when that happened. That's when that got in effect. Us failing the law. You see this? You see how brutal that law was? 22 again. Even the righteousness of God, which is by faith in Yasha, right? Unto all that believe, right? So when you believe it, you latch on to him. What's that? 1 Corinthians chapter 13, Galatians 5. That's when we got those books, right? That's when Christ came in Matthew, and then the story that tells, right? Down the line, you get Galatians 5 and 1 Corinthians chapter 13, those jewels, right? Those mysteries, those hidden books that mean everything, y'all. I knew I loved those books. I didn't know how important they were. I didn't know that they were what they are, right? I had to have my experience and then get back looking how to justify my experience with the book. And then that's how that stuff came out, right? Praise the Most High. I thank Him, for giving me words to solidify what happened. I ain't even seen the tip of the iceberg yet. We ain't even seen it yet, fam. We still don't know. We have an idea what he's doing, man, but when you're really in it and you're feeling it and it's manifesting and you're looking at it, it don't feel how it feel right now when we're looking forward and we're trying to kind of see. We don't really know what he's going to do. It's different after he does it, right? So, excuse me sometimes if I get stoked in front of this camera, right? Forgive me if I get stoked, y'all. You know, I pray I never shed no tears in front of y'all or something, or break down or have some kind of emotional ordeal in front of this camera one day, because it is possible, y'all. Right? We can't control mama when that spirit come upon you, and they say don't quench it. So I'm not gonna quench it. I'm gonna let it fly. Right? But 23, for all have sinned and come short of the glory of God. Now you see that? What is that talking about? How wrong have you been? A lot of people haven't been much wrong, right? A lot of people was born sweethearts, been sweetheart all their life. But guess what? Guess what? They've offended somebody. They've said something that hurt somebody's feelings. I don't care how perfect you are. You've done that. Maybe you've never been a drug addict. Maybe you've never stolen anything, right? Maybe you've never lied to anybody. Maybe you've never lied to get out of trouble because you don't get in any trouble because you're just that good. But what you have done? You have said something that somebody said, "Whoa, that hurt," right? Yes, yes, yes. Mm. There it is. There. Back to the screenshot. Right. 24 down to 27. Y'all go ahead, snap that real quick so you can refer back and forth to it as we speak and speak these words, con. All right. Ah, ba, ga, da, ha, wa, za. 24. Being justified freely by his grace through the redemption that is in Christ. That don't sound good. That sounds like a child is hurt. Quiet down. I am live. Salakia, y'all. Do apologize. Being justified freely. Freely justified. Now, not just justified, freely justified. Right? By his grace. By his grace. Okay? Through what's given in the place of our mistakes. Forgiveness. Right? through the redemption. So that's the reason why it's being done, to redeem us, right? Why would he come? Why would he come and we're still condemned, right? No, he had to meet us. So he meets us even in our error. You see that? We needed to be redeemed, but we're redeemed out of error. Error caused us to need redemption. So he has to come into the error and pull us in to that redemption. You see that? That is in Christ. That is in Yasha. It's in him. And he's going to show you how, but you got to listen. And that's the problem in this earth. A lot of people, they didn't listen. They didn't listen, y'all. Oh, everything is free. Could do anything. I could break all these laws and just, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to be forgiven for this. Yikes. Sad for you. I sure do hate it for you. Yikes. Tell him, Mark. Yikes. 25, whom God has set forth to be a propitiation through faith in his blood. What does that mean? Whom God has set forth. Christ. The Most High set Christ forth for what? To be the propitiation, to be the reconcilement. Through what? Through faith, through belief. That's the first, man. You gotta believe him. You'll never get to anything that comes after believing him if you don't first believe him. You first believe him, okay. Look, okay, I'm listening. Now you're listening, and then you're just gonna be pulled through, right? But you got to get your ear first. See that? And he'll be the propitiation, the reconcilement, right? Through faith, through belief. In what? In his blood, the blood that he shed, right? Which is the same blood as ours, the African American, right? To be specific, the 12 tribes of Jacob by nation, right? The same blood out of Abraham. And that's what this Roman goes into, right? Esau is, guess what? Still a child of Abraham, y'all. And that's how they, they get a lot coming through that, right? The things of Abraham, they fall under, right? Glory be unto the Most High, as well as Isaac. We was talking about that last time too. Isaac wanted Esau to get it, y'all. So you don't think the Most High gonna make that right by Isaac? Yeah, he had already gave it to Jacob, and that's why he swindled things to make Jacob get that birthright. But you don't think he gonna make that right by Isaac? The way he did Isaac? The way he got moms and Jacob together and played that trick on Isaac? You don't think the father gonna fix that? Watch out for Esau, y'all. They ain't had it bad. Esau got a silver spoon in his mouth and he owns the earth. It's his. You can't deny that. That's why you hate him so much, because he done made you jealous. Right? The Queen of England running around with that diamond crown on her head. And we need a piece of bread. And she got diamonds on her head, right? And didn't pay for it. They don't spend money, y'all. Everything is free. Somebody brought that diamond crown to her like this. Right? She didn't pay a dime for that. They don't spend money. That's called dominion, family. Okay? Own the world. Okay? You know? But what did Christ give us though? Because thou art rich. Why? Because whom God has set forth to be a propitiation through faith in his blood, to declare his righteousness for the remission of sins, right? That are past. Right? So what we is doing back there, this is propitiation, this is remission for what's behind us, which are the same things that are before us. So if it cures that, it cures this. You see that? So that's why you can't be falling off, and you can't be purposely falling off, and you can't be careless. The more careful you are, the less grace you're going to use. And the less you got to worry about. And that's if you end up being judged. It's if you end up being judged, right? There's other things going on, and we talk about that. Right? But listen, through the forbearance, we was talking about the forbearance last time too, right? The forbearance of God, that's him easing up off you. That's him forbearing to judge you that moment, right? 26, to declare, I say, at this time, his righteousness, that he might be just, and the justifier of him which believeth in Yahshua. Right? To declare, that's to stand on, I say, at this time, his righteousness. What righteousness? The 9, right? That he might be just. They make you just, don't they? What is just? Just is pure. Just is one way. Like, I'm just going to do this. I'm not going to do no two things. I'm going to do this one thing. That's just, pure, one ingredient, right? And the justifier. What is a justifier? Justifier makes other things just, right? It makes everything else right. Justifier, right? Of him which believeth. How do you believe? You can't just say, I believe, and then do what you want. Why calleth me Lord, Lord, and do not the things which I say? Words of Christ, right? Don't call me Lord and do what you want. How do we show we believe in him? We follow his footsteps. Where does his footsteps lead? To the fruit of the Spirit. That's what Galatians 5 taught us, okay? What to cling to. If it ain't mentioned in them 2 verses, get away from it. love, joy, peace, long suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, and temperance. If it ain't those things, get away from it, right? Right. 27. Where is boasting then? What right do we have to boast in? If it was Christ that justified us, we didn't find this role by ourselves. Okay. I didn't go into the sapphire because I was just so good. No. Christ made that possible. I was a soul of Christ's. I was Christ's baby, and that's why I saw that realm. Okay? Where is boasting then? Is it excluded? By what law? By what law? What law? What law excluded, right? Our condemnation, right? By what law? Of works? No. But by what? But by the law of faith. Oh, it cracked at us. It said, law of my foot, baby, law of faith. You want to blame it on a law? Then it's a law of faith, right? And we're going to go 28 to 31. Get your screenshot. Get your screenshot. Right. Verse 28. Therefore, we conclude that a man is justified by faith without the deeds of the law. Right? Does it mean don't do it? No, it don't mean that. You better keep respecting your brother in God. But, right? You're justified by your belief in Christ. Your belief in Christ puts you on the path of everything else that you ran into. You see that? Without the belief in Christ coming first, you wouldn't have done nothing you did, and you wouldn't have reached what you reached. So it ain't just flat out saying you forgiven for sins. No. But at the end, that's how it looks. At the end, sin ain't going to be able to get you, right? Because you lived a life in law. Huh? 28. Is he the God of the Jews only? No. Right? Is he not also the Gentiles? Yes. Of the Gentiles also. Right? And the Gentiles weren't given a law. So if the Gentiles weren't given a law, then it definitely ain't laws that justify us and get us up under Christ, is what that's saying, you know. But guess what? The Most High created Gentiles too. He created them, right? So they have the right to latch on to him if they want to. He is indeed their God. There's one God of all. They don't have to accept them deities that were put over them. Verse 30, seeing it is one God, which shall justify the circumcision. There's many gods, but there's only one that can do what? Which shall justify the circumcision, who chose Jacob, right? By what? By faith. How? By Abraham. By Abraham's faith. Guess who else father Abraham is? Gentile. See that? Genesis 12:3. Get that on your own time. That's talking about Abraham's children. Okay? And uncircumcision through faith. Right? Uncircumcision is justified through faith. They might not have cut their member, but after this flesh drop on this side, and that soul is full of faith, you think it's going to keep them out because, hey, when your body was back over there, you didn't circumcise it. That don't matter. Circumcision profiteth nothing anymore, right? Last verse, 31. Do we then make void the law through faith? So he knows what people were going to do. They were going to take all this and say, well, here's the law. Don't need that anymore. And this is saying you better not do that. Do we make void the law through faith? God forbid. God forbid means no. Yea, we establish the law. Nah, we keep it more. We got another chance. Everything behind us is white. Let's go forward and do it right. And guess what? If you mess up in the forward, if you mess up going forward while you're getting it together, that'll be forgiven too. If it's sincere. Now, if you look at something and you say, well, I got grace for this, boom, and you do it, no grace for that. Right? There is no remission of sins for that type of an attitude. And that's what it is that condemns you. Is it the deed? No. Is it you rolling over on the law? No. None of that is what condemns you. What condemns you is that is not of the fruit of the spirit to take up that whole nasty attitude to, hey, I'm going to be forgiven anyway. That's a repugnant, that's that boo-boo I was telling you about that the Most High is like, right? What is this smell? Right? Huh? So that's the end of that. Let's get the golden chapter. And get on up out of here. We're 2 hours in. It was a little slow tonight, but I'm gonna get my water back and it's gonna flow. We're gonna be able to blow through it and it's gonna be tasty the way it's been recently. And but I got totally distracted by everything I've had to do around here, so I don't want to be here for 5 hours, so we're gonna cut this short right here. Took us 2 hours to get through that chapter. So we're gonna cut it there. We're gonna come back. We're gonna, Father willing, we're gonna do Romans 4. And after Romans 4, I'm gonna come in and we're gonna do 1 Corinthians chapter 15 alone if we have to. We're gonna do 1 Corinthians chapter 15 first before we go anywhere else. After we do Romans chapter 4. Right? But Y'all see what that's talking about, right? Whether you Jew or Gentile, right? It further explained coming off the back of chapter 2, and it just went deeper. It went deeper into the details of what solidified the end of Romans chapter 2. Verse 3 said basically, don't matter, Jew or Greek, Jew or Gentile, right? Keep the law, justify yourself through faith when you fall off of the law. And of course, it went into a lot of everything that the law is, which is, right? Love God, love your neighbor as yourself, protect them, right? But this world is twisted, and, love means something different in the world today. You could claim love and do all kind of atrocity, right? And the world don't know what love is supposed to look like, huh? And we off on that horribly. You screaming love, 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 but you're shedding blood and you hurting feelings and you doing all of that and you don't care. And when somebody says, hey man, you hurt my feelings, well, so what? Right? It's about this truth. Facts over feelings, right? That's what they tell you. Facts over feelings. In other words, shut up. Take your feelings and tuck them, right? And be quiet and do better next time, right? Nah, that's open-ended. Every offense is open-ended, y'all, and it has to be tracked down and closed up. If somebody should tell you they're bothered any type of way, what is your stance? How do you answer them? Matter of factly, oh well type, or are you really sincere and are you sorry? I don't care what your pet peeves is. They're not mine, they're yours. So I have to be mindful of you. Love respects love. It ain't just my love matter and to hell with yours, right? No, my love, you gotta respect your love. You love a thing, I gotta respect that. And I gotta grant you that at least while I'm dealing with you, right? At least while I'm dealing with you. And that's respect. And every man is allotted that, right? The leaders of the earth, they don't care, y'all. They roll over on you, they hurt your feelings. These people are not of God, guys, right? And I just pray that they're doing enough that somehow that balances out because they're sure breaking every law, right? Romans chapter 3 just broke it down. The offenses, y'all. Let's see if I could lay eyes on it one more time, right? Because we did get it. And it did break it down. All up in here, right? Romans 3 and 11, there is none that understand. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know they don't know the power of their offense, right? There is none that seeketh after God. Because if you were seeking after God, you wouldn't be doing that. Wouldn't be your whole stance. Even though you sit there with your cloak like you big and bad, like you can lead somebody to God, right? 12, they are all going out of the way. They compromised, right? They are together, all of them. They are when it say they are together, it just took all of them and lumped them all. It ain't no stragglers falling out of the bunch. It got them all. It got them all, right? They are all become what? Unprofitable. There is none that doeth any good. They all doing bad and hurting us out here, rolling over on the whole law, right? No, not one. 13, their throat, okay? Their mouth, their words is like an open grave, right? With their tongues, they have deceived, right? Because it ain't true what they say. When they break your heart, they wrong. Those words ain't true. And that's what's getting them in trouble. They deceive. It ain't as bad as they make it. You ain't as worthless as you feel when you depart from them, right? So what does that make their lips, right? The poison of asp, which is snakes, okay, is under their lips, whose mouth is full of cursing and bitter. Their feet are, we get into that, right? In the way of peace, have they not known, right? All that, all that. For all have sinned, all have what? Offended. All of that's in Romans chapter 3, y'all. Offenses, y'all. Woe be unto the earth for what? Offenses. Well, it should be better if a milestone was tied around their neck and they was cast into the depth of the sea. Why did it say that? Because somebody was offended, y'all. Those are strong. Those are some strong words, right? God does not like you offending his children. Man, that's harsh. I'd rather take all kind of deaths than to have that than you to tie an anchor around my neck and then throw that in the ocean and then it poo and go through the water and then snatch me and I go, oh, right. Man, that's a horrible death, y'all. Can you imagine that? 1 Corinthians chapter 13. Though I speak with the tongues of men and of angels. That's when you're good, right? Tongues of men and angels. That's when you're good, ain't it? But guess what? And have not charity, I am become a sounding brass or a tinkling cymbal. 2, and though, right, I have the gift of prophecy and understand all mysteries and all knowledge, and though I have all faith that I could remove mountains. We were just talking about faith. You got all that, right? You got the faith of Abraham, right? And have not charity, I am nothing. So what do you expect to be, right? If it tells you you are nothing, what do you expect? If this tells you when you shed this flesh and you come face to face with your maker, and he says without charity you're nothing, what are you asking? What are you doing after that? You're begging? No, do the charity, okay? Don't gamble on that. Don't gamble on, okay, what if I get there late with no money? Right? $1 short and a day late. Like, man, what if you don't get off my porch? Right? $1 short and a day late, right? Late with no money. You're going to be nothing. 3, And though I bestow all my goods to feed the poor, you gave all your stuff up. You gave away a lot of stuff. And then you did what? You lack charity. Why? Because you went and you hurt feelings and you talked to anybody any old kind of way. Now you see that, fam. Because I know you saying, man, ain't that charity if I give all my goods to feed the poor? That's charity. We think that's charity. No, charity is the giving of anything free, the way you were created. How much did it cost you for the Most High to create you? Or did he just do it? You see that? Charity means you just do it. You know, no charge. Some things you want to be paid for, but whether you get paid or not, do it. Maybe it come on the back end, maybe it doesn't. Or guess what? Down the line, you look and you get paid double. Guess what that's for? Something else you gave, and the Father is paying you double for that. You see that? When you get paid double for a single job, that's because He's reimbursing you for something you did in the past, right? And it's automatic to think, why did this happen? And then you can think of the direct reason why it happened. It's not far from your mind. Oh, could it be because of that one time where I did? Yes, that's why. You got paid double, ain't it? But you bestow all your goods to feed the poor, and you did it with the wrong heart, and you walked right away from that good deed, and you spoiled it with something stupid, right? Why? Because Romans 3 told us they don't understand. They don't know what's getting them blessed or cursed. We know now. This is what we know. Man, this is what we have been afforded in these last days. It's beautiful, ain't it? Man, it's so gorgeous. Mm-mm-mm. What else did you do? And though I give my body to be burned, right? How many ways can you give your body to suffer for deeds, for things that you think are going to make you a good person, right? You can still lack charity doing that, right? And if you should, then how does it end? It profiteth me nothing. All of them ways you burnt your body up, it ain't gonna do you no good. That's what it profiteth me nothing means. It ain't gonna do you no good. It ain't gonna help you while you at the throne trying to explain, well, Father, right? Didn't I get didn't I give all my goods to feed the poor, Father? Father, didn't I give my body to be burned? But you have not charity, so it profiteth you nothing. That's a conversation, okay? You guys are talking. You're trying to talk your way into the gate. Father's like, no, you lack charity. Right? I don't want to hear it. Why? Because it tells you in verse 4, it kicks it off. Charity suffers long. No, that's not the one. I'm thinking of 8, which says charity never fails, right? But charity never fails. Charity never fails. He's not, charity gonna profit you everything, is what that means, right? It's telling you all the things that's worthless without charity. And it's like everything, nothing replaces charity. There is no substitute, right? It ain't nothing you can do to patch that up. No, you did charity or you didn't. You offered yourself up with a pure heart and really didn't expect anything back. I don't expect nothing back for my efforts, y'all. Nothing can probably come out of this. But I know I did what the Father hired me to do and what He sent me back here to do. right? I might just be a laughing stock my whole rest of my life here, right? And I'm okay with that. Why? Because when I drop this flesh, right, back to the sapphire. So long, and thanks for all the fish, huh? I see y'all later. Holla. All praise it to the Most High. I don't expect anything, even though, man, y'all doing y'all thing, right? If anybody need anything, hit the email address, right? Because we got something to come off. Keep them coming. Kapow. Plant Vineyards 144 at gmail.com. Right? Glory be unto the Most High. Charity suffers long and is kind. Charity envieth not. Charity vaunteth not itself, is not puffed up. 5. Does not behave itself unseemly, seeketh not her own, is not easily provoked, thinketh no evil. Right? 6. Rejoice not in iniquity, but rejoiceth in the truth. 7. Beareth all things, believeth all things, hopeth all things, endureth all things. 8. Charity never fails, but whether there be prophecies, they shall fail. Whether there be tongues, they shall cease. Whether there be knowledge, it shall vanish away. 9. For we know in part, and we prophesy in part. 10. But when that which is perfect is come, then that which is in part shall be done away with. Okay? 11. When I was a child, I spake as a child. I understood everything as a child. My mind were in my thoughts were immature. I thought as a child. But when I became a man, how do you know you become a man? Because you put away childish things. Childish things is for your children, not you, right? Be a man. Grow up, right? Have all the hobbies you want, but the immaturity of the spirit put away, right? It's saying understanding be men and malice be children. Yikes. Remember that, y'all? In malice be children in that. What is malice? All this dirt we out here doing. Against who? Against our fellow neighbor. Tell me this law don't mean when I say it mean. Yikes. Right? 12. For now we see through a glass darkly. Can you imagine that? For now we see through a glass darkly. Say you got a dark glass and you got trying to see, right? But then face to face, and then you spot your face in there, like, whoa, that's my face, right? Now I know in part. Why it go back to now I know in part? Because it just broke that down for you. You couldn't see nothing at first. You seeing through a glass. You're trying to see, and you will train yourself to see. Oh, that looks like my eye. Yeah, that's my eye right there. Oh, that's my nose. Now you're seeing in that dark glass, right? You got to train yourself to see. You see that? And if you keep looking long enough, boom, then you start spotting yourself. Right? But then face to face, boom, now you see. You see that? Now I know in part. It went back to that. What is that? What is knowing in part? That's the seeing through a glass darkly. But then shall I know even as also I am known, right? Shall I know, even as also I am known, right? That's the face to face. Now, shall I know, even as also I am known? The way I look to you is what I just figured out, right? Now I really see myself. Cause man, we gonna boost up what we do, and we're gonna downplay what everybody else does. It's natural instinct, you know. It ain't no fault of ours or nothing. We're just made to see our deeds and our ways as bigger than everybody else's, taller than everybody else's ways, right? Because they're mine. I know them. I know what I felt. I understand my ways more than I understand. I don't know what you went through. And that's of the nine fruits, to be able to look at somebody else and consider what they may have gone through. Yikes. That's what it is. That's what the whole thing is. That's what separates you right here, when you can look and you can be in that with somebody else and consider what they may have been through. You know, I done traveled across the whole United States, been through all types of weather and all kind of crazy stuff. 2 car accidents, right? My jaw is wired, you know. I'm wet. I'm leaking rain off of my fingers and off of my arms and stuff. You know, I got sick just to get to your door. And you open the door and it's like, whatever. And you just slam the door back, whatever. I'll holler at you in a minute. Or, you know what I mean? That's how it is. You know, that inconsideration, that not being able to see everybody else's deeds and work. And you know, man, that's offensive. And you will go to hell for that. You can't be that kind of person and think the most high in Christ is just, oh, come on in, right? Welcome home, son. No, I know you not. You didn't feed the brethren? Matthew 25. You didn't feed the brethren? Right? You didn't give them drink? Right? You didn't pull up when they were sick and rub them with ointment? Right? You didn't do that? You didn't go down to the jail when they was in there? Right? You left them homeless? You left them on the streets? Cold? Curled up in the ball? You couldn't do nothing? Right? Yikes. Right? Now you're looking at yourself. What have you done for anybody else? Wake up in the morning and go out in the streets and find somebody and do the biggest deed you ever done in your life. Don't worry about it. You get it back. Blow it. Right? Blow it. Ask me how I know. Right? Verse 13, and we out of here. And now abideth faith, hope, and charity. That's why it's telling you that. Faith, hope, and charity. Those are tip top in the earth, right? What we need more than that? Faith, hope, charity. These 3. But the greatest of these is charity. Shalom. I love y'all. Right? We're going to come back. Be it the Father's will, we're going to come back. We're going to do Romans 4. Right? And next on the list will be 1 Corinthians chapter 15. We're going to get those. Y'all stay tuned. Y'all keep locking in. Y'all go do good deeds, y'all, because I want y'all to make it. I want you to make it. Right? All praise to the Most High. Shalom. I love y'all. We talk soon. Ain't it? Yes, yes, yes.